Today, we are going to talk about, have the Baltimore Ravens found something that has been missing for a while? Also, we are going to talk about some of the records the Ravens have broken through the first quarter of the season and what is coming up next for our Baltimore Ravens. But first, Ravens fly, let's fly. All right, welcome to October. We are entering the second quarter of the NFL season. What? Are you serious? Listen, for the first time ever on the Road Pod, we have breaking news. As I'm recording this video, breaking news has just come in, and I guess I'm the first to report this. I'm going to be the first to actually put this out here. I'm feeling privileged. I'm feeling honored. We have a special guest on today's show. Now, after the Dallas Cowboys game and after the game Sunday night versus the Buffalo Bills, I am proud to introduce to everyone, first ever interview from Nate Wiggins' hands.
Pause.
And what was explained to me was Nate Wiggins' hands said, I ain't catching no balls. Pause. Ain't no balls touching these hands. Truly amazing, guys. First time ever hearing from a player's hands during a video. I'm blessed and honored to be the one to report this to you guys. So apparently the two games, he dropped like 3 interceptions and his hands were like, not me, not today. For who, for what? Wow, I feel blessed and truly honored. But now that we've got the interview out the way, let's get back into this video. So over the last 2 weeks, the Baltimore Ravens have run the hell out of the ball versus the Dallas Cowboys and the Buffalo Bills. And all offseason long and into the first 2 weeks of the season, the question was asked all throughout social media and on certain shows was, what is the Baltimore Ravens' identity? Do they even have an identity, or do they know what they want their identity to be? Now, we know for the longest time that the Ravens wanted to be a run-first team, which they were, and they've led the league in rushing most of Lamar Jackson's tenure as a Baltimore Raven. But to actually identify an identity, maybe we didn't have one the last couple of years. Yes, we ran the ball and we ran the ball effectively. But when it came to crunch time, when it came to find something to hang our hat on, we didn't know what to do. We tried to be a passing team. We tried to prove people wrong. And inexplicably, we would not run the ball when it mattered the most. But as of right now, the Baltimore Ravens may have found the formula that they need going forward. That does need to be tweaked just a little bit. But the way that they are running the ball right now is on an historic pace. For me, it's going to take more than 2 games to say, you know what, this is our identity. We know with John Harbaugh-led teams, we switch up from time to time and do certain things when the team's back is against the wall and we play in desperation. Now, is this something that is sustainable throughout the year? If we stick to it, it is, because we used to bludgeon teams to death with our run game, and for some reason, we just went away from it. With Derrick Henry, like we said before in the past, if the Ravens actually go out here and get a bona fide running back, there would be no excuse for the Ravens not to run the ball. And if they did, there would be extreme backlash. And the coaching staff doesn't want that because they listen to social media, they listen to the podcast, and they don't want people questioning their coaching skills. So is this going to be the Ravens' new identity? Pass the ball between 15 to 25 times a game and just run it the rest of the time? I think that they should do this until a team can prove that they can stop it. And yes, we do have to get the passing game ramped up. We have to get certain players more involved, because my thing is, I don't want players getting 1 or 2 passes per game, and then when we really need them, they're not ready for that moment, because they have not been involved in prior games. So when that number gets called, it's kind of like, what do? Do I catch it like this? I forgot. I don't remember. So we need to ramp the passing game up, but we need to keep this steady trajectory of running the ball consistently. Feed Derrick Henry early, feed him often, sprinkling a little Lamar. I don't want Lamar running more than 5 or 6 times a game. This is what we brought Derrick Henry in here for. He is built for it. Keep our quarterback clean, let him make those clutch passes, because the efficiency for Lamar is off the chain. So let's keep it that way. This formula has got us winning, and I know people are going to say, is this actually sustainable? Once again, it can be if we want it to be. Prove to us that you can stop us. Prove to us that you can actually slow us down, because in the latter half of the season, especially now that the weather, it kind of feels like that it is changing. When it gets cold, you need to be able to pack your run game on the road. And if the Ravens can run in good weather, you know we can run in bad weather. Derrick Henry is a force. He showed Sunday night that he still has it. So let's feed him the ball and let's keep this going. But once again, I need a couple of more games for the Ravens to prove to me that they found their identity, that they have identified what their identity actually is, and this is what it's going to be going forward. And in talking about this rushing game, the Baltimore Ravens have made history. You would think that becoming the all-time best rushing team in NFL history, all of these other stats that the Ravens put out there, that they could not produce any more when it comes to the ground game. And yet and still, here we are 4 weeks into the season, and the Ravens have set another record. They have outrushed each team that they have played, all 4 teams this season, by 100 yards each game. It's the first time in NFL history that a team has outrushed each of his first 4 opponents by 100 yards a game. Can you just imagine? Your team is out there thinking, man, we done rush for $150, we cool. But then you look over at the Ravens side and we're like, we rush for $275. And what? Come on, little bro. It's the big leagues over here. So yes, the Ravens set history with that mark. And also, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry have set a QB running back rushing record by having 788 yards combined in the first 4 games. 4 games, your running back, your quarterback are 212 yards away from 1,000 in a quarter of the season. In less than a quarter of the season. These are amazing stats. And if they can continue on this path, together they will rush for 3,349 yards. Quarterback and a running back rushing for 3,000 yards in itself. Now, to me, if I'm not mistaken, that would be an all-time rushing record for a team. Or it's close. It would be up there in the top 2 or 3 if it is not the most. But that's just those 2. That's not even accounting what you're going to do with Justice Hill, what you're going to do with Keaton Mitchell when he comes back. Just mind-boggling stats. And this is showing you how dominant this running game is. This is why we've said for years, bring in somebody to complement Lamar Jackson so we can do these type of things. And when these things happen and they actually bring in complementary pieces to Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens make history. And also, not to be outdone by the offense, the defense, they kind of shut something down themselves. The Buffalo Bills, led by Josh Allen, they had a streak of 41 games scoring more than 10 points. That is an amazing feat by itself, to score 11 or more points in a game for 41 games. That is over 2 seasons of games that they hit this mark. And on Sunday night, the Baltimore Ravens shut them down and held them to 10 points. Now, if it weren't for that amazing play by Josh Allen, they would have been held in single digits. So kudos to Zach Orr and what the Baltimore Ravens defense did that day. Now, also, if you thought that was an amazing stat, check this one out. The Buffalo Bills have not lost a game by more than 6 points since 2021. 3 years, and they have not lost a game by more than 6 points. Do you know how difficult that is to lose by less than a touchdown each time that you lose for 3 seasons? And guess what? The Baltimore Ravens took on that challenge and said, hold my beer, watch this. And they did the damn thing. So hopefully this is the turning point for the Baltimore Ravens in their season, showing how truly dominant they can actually be. And let's hope that with this dominance, it continues, because this is Bengals week. As of right now, we put that Buffalo Bills game behind us and we start focusing on these Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Cincinnati Bengals right now are 1-3 at the bottom of the AFC North, and this tangle with the Baltimore Ravens may not be as simple as people think. Now, yes, the Bengals are wounded, the Bengals are hurt, their defense is decimated. Their best defensive player in Trey Hendrickson, his arm was in a sling. They don't know his availability for this game as of right now, but it is a divisional matchup, and this could actually be tough. Joe Burrow is 3-1 versus the Baltimore Ravens at home. So let's not think that this is going to be a cakewalk. Just because they look terrible the first few weeks of the season doesn't mean that the Ravens are going to walk all over them, even though they are not good at stopping the run. But this is a trend for the Cincinnati Bengals, that they start the seasons off very poorly and then come on later in the season. Let's hope that this trend has stopped and this is something else that the Baltimore Ravens are going to nip in the bud. So up next, we take on the Bengals. Hopefully the Steelers lose, we win, and we can tie for the division lead in the AFC North. We just need the Ravens to have their A game and not have a letdown. Let's not forget about Derrick Henry. Let's not forget about Zay Flowers. Let's get Isaiah Likely more involved and go out here and win this game, because I am just sitting here waiting. I'm waiting. I'm on Twitter. Like, I keep going back. I'm doing a little bit of work. I'm checking Twitter because I'm waiting for the Bengals fans to start. I'm waiting for it to start. But for some reason, it's quite possible, just like the Bills and Dan, they've been humble. They know their place. They know the hierarchy of the AFC North, and they ain't it. So if any of you got something to say, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Nah, man, I'm cool.